Who caught that boy? Who stretched that boy? Who caught that boy?
After King Von was sent to that lobby, it felt like the old rivals from that side been creeping back into the spotlight like they never left, trying to squeeze themselves right back into the story again. Even after all these years, Lil Tim been back online, popping off, tossing little jabs like he untouched by reality, even though a whole 5 years rolled by and the tension's starting to feel dangerous all over again. Today we stepping into some heavy street politics that got the entire hip-hop world tuned in like they watching a live blockbuster unfold right in front of them. Before this situation spiraled back into the headlines, everything looked quiet. But now it's clear the pressure been building under the surface for a long time. To understand how this chaos got sparked again, we gotta rewind to November 6, 2020.
Never seen that man with Young Boy before that shit happened with V-Roy, you see what I'm saying? It's like he using that like as a face card to be around him, like to make them look a little tough, you see what I'm saying?
The night King Von tragically lost his life right outside that Atlanta hookah lounge. A moment that shook the culture in a way nobody could ignore. Lil Tim, Quando Rondo's right-hand partner, was the one who pulled the trigger, and he claimed it was all self-defense. The courts accepted that, and the charges got dropped, but the streets never looked at it like that, not even for a second. And they never let that moment fade away. For 5 long years, this whole situation been simmering like a pot sitting on low heat, never boiling over, but never cooling down either. NBA Youngboy been sliding slick verbal shots toward OBlock in his music, and Lil Tim staying right beside him, while moving like he untouchable, while OBlock kept silent, watching every move, waiting, studying, and calculating what came next.
Boy, who stretched that boy? Who caught that boy, man? You got on that plate, that's hot smoking like.
But what just happened this week took all that quiet pressure and turned it into straight boiling energy. Trust me, this goes way deeper than people outside the culture could ever understand. King Von wasn't just another artist from Chicago who was seen as real OBlock royalty, someone folks respected on a whole different level. He came up under Chief Keef's shadow, but Von had his own energy. While Sosa pushed drill music into the world, Von was known in the streets long before the industry saw him as a star. People have been saying for years that he carried a heavy reputation before he even thought about recording in the studio. So when Von passed, it wasn't just the loss of a rising artist. OBlock lost someone they looked at as a real leader, someone they believed could shape their future, open doors, and shift their whole land. That loss still sits heavy today. And that's why what came next hit the streets way harder than anyone expected.
With Young Boy before that shit happened with V-Roy, you see what I'm saying? It's like he using that like as a face card to be around him, like to make them look a little tough, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how I look at it, but I ain't really like.
So if it was,
it ain't much I can say because I'm still I'm working on my way up and shit. You see what I'm saying? If my time gonna come, it's whatever, but it just.
NBA Youngboys just dropped a freestyle called Zero IQ, and the tone came off wild disrespectful toward Von's legacy. But Lil Tim took things even further and added gasoline to the whole situation. Hopped on TikTok, posted a video like he didn't have a care in the world, started rapping along to the exact part of the song everybody online was angry about, word for word, no hesitation, no filter. Who popped that boy? I'm him. Who starts that boy? I'm him. He rapped and there was nothing hidden about it. No coded message, no slick cover-up, just pure, bold energy broadcast to millions like he was daring anyone to react. Lil Tim was basically bragging on social media, acting proud about a situation tied to a man the streets still honor, and he didn't care who was watching. People started calling him reckless instantly because the boldness was unreal.
Do you understand the whole situation or what?
I understand, but it's like, all right, you did what you did, okay.
Because I heard, not to cut you off, but I heard a lot of people from y'all side getting that. Some people saying he did with like.
But he'll do what any street do if he got to defend his people. But it's like, all right, you did what you did, that's cool. All right, boom, the police was involved, you got out, bro. It ain't like you did some street shit and like, it's just left in the streets. That shit on some police shit too at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like, do shit. Like, it's a difference from doing some street shit and the know you did some street shit, right? And your name, you in the streets, like, your name ring or whatever. But you did some street shit, whatever you claim. But the police was involved in that shit. But it's like I don't like the way he go about it. Like have to be flexing and shit. Like don't act like you did some shit and just got away like off the chain, like off that. Like bro, this ain't like it's some shit I can't even say. But it's like I don't like how certain.
Then he doubled down, rapping more lines like, "Who caught that boy? You stretched that boy. Who caught that boy? I'm him." Pushing everything back into the spotlight and showing he wasn't backing away from anything. What really flipped the whole internet upside down was the timing of that TikTok. Because Lil Thurm didn't drop that video on some random afternoon. He posted it on November 6, 2025, the same exact day King Von passed just 5 years later. And things turned even crazier when folks noticed that Lil Tim's grandfather passed away on that same date in 2025 too, making both situations fall on November 6, same date, 5 years apart. And once people connected those dots, the internet lit up like gasoline hitting the open flame.
I feel like he ain't humble about that shit, like, cause the same way like you did what you did, that shit could happen to you too, gang. Like.
And trust there's a reason that TikTok hit different from all the usual disrespectful subliminals people been seeing online. Most of the past sneak dissings were tucked inside songs, metaphors, coded bar stuff artists could dodge later and say, nah, I wasn't talking about that. Giving them wiggle room every time. But Lil Tim threw that whole strategy out the window without blinking. He looked straight into the camera, rapped those exact words with full confidence, and made sure everybody understood what he was saying. No guessing, no reading between the lines, just straight, bold energy blasting across the timeline. And the way the video was put together made it obvious this wasn't some quick freestyle moment or a casual vibe he decided to film. He looked like he was in the studio or a professionally set up spot with clean lighting, sharp audio, and everything looking intentional like a full production. This wasn't spontaneous. This was planned, crafted, and dropped for maximum reaction. A message delivered loud and clear that he wasn't backing down from anything. And you already know OBlock wasn't about to let that slide, not even a little bit. Mona Ike, one of the loudest voices from OBlock since Von passed, wasted no time jumping online to respond. He went straight at Lil Tim, calling him out directly.
Like on some easy shit, you see what I'm saying? Okay. Bro, you got lucky, how you did what you did, you defended you stood your ground, whatever. But it's like, it's just the way like had be playing out now, like all that on stage and okay, you
tough,
like yeah, gang, like I don't be liking that gang because
Bro was gangster.
Bro was a gangster. This is what I'm saying.
He died a gangster.
Ain't doing no like with shit like that, bro. It's like, bro, you got lucky, really, bro. Like it ain't like you was on no face to. You ain't finna face this man face to face and just. You got lucky. His back.
Letting him know the disrespect wasn't slipping under the radar, and OBlock wasn't turning away from the situation. Ike wasn't tiptoeing around anything either. He called Tim out for trying to use King Von's passing like some kind of face card to stay relevant and keep himself in the spotlight. And he questioned why Tim only popped up around NBA YoungBoy after the situation happened with Von. Ike made it clear he wasn't buying that sudden friendship at all. In that interview with FYBJ Maine that's been spreading everywhere, Ike laid it out with no hesitation. He said, I ain't never seen that man with YoungBoy before. That situation with Von happened, he using that like a face card to be around him. It's make them look a little tough. Once he said that, people started listening real close because he wasn't sugarcoating a single word. Ike wasn't just talking about music or internet antics either. He called out the way Little Tim been moving since that night in Atlanta, pointing out how Tim been making songs about the situation, bragging on stage, and acting like he's some type of street legend. In Ike's words, the situation wasn't handled like real street business at all. He said straight up, you got off, bro. It ain't tea like you did some street stuff and it's just left in the streets. That line shook the whole timeline because he said what a lot of people been whispering for years. And then Ike pushed even deeper into the narrative Tim and his supporters been repeating online. According to Ike and other OBlock members, things that night weren't as simple as the internet made it. They've been claiming Von was in T, even the one pushing the situation aggressive that night. Something the media twisted and ran with once everything blew up. The media twisted everything to make it look like Tim stepped up like some type of hero protecting his friend in that. It's exactly what shook folks because it went against the storyline most people have been repeating for years. When Ike shut that down, people stopped scrolling and started listening because he wasn't going with the popular version at all. Ike wrapped up by saying Tim should keep things humble because the same kind of situation he's bragging about can flip on anybody if they're not moving careful. He warned that acting reckless in this world can come right back around, and anybody who thinks they untouchable could get hit with reality real fast out here. Now, let's break down the real truth behind everything, because this situation stretches way deeper than one moment outside that hookah spot. This wasn't some random meeting. This came from tension, pride, ego, and years of history stacking up until everything snapped that night. When King Von and his people pulled up on Quando Rondo, the whole vibe shifted instantly.
And anybody who knew Vaughn understood why the air got tight right away. Vaughn had a heavy reputation in the streets, and people always said he was ain't too scared to step to anybody when something needed to be addressed. He wasn't known for backing down, and that was the image that followed him everywhere he went. But here's what a lot of people never understood about Lil Tim. According to Muna Ike and other OBlock members, Tim wasn't viewed as some major street figure before any of this happened. They've been saying he was just Quando's partner, someone who happened to be armed that night, not someone the street saw as a heavyweight. They said he wasn't even moving like someone deep in that life before everything went down. He was just caught in a serious moment and reacted how a loyal friend would when he saw his guy in danger. And that part alone isn't what made everyone mad. What truly sparked all the anger and disrespect flying around today was everything that happened after the situation. Instead of laying low, staying out the spotlight and moving smart, Lil Tim started using the moment like a launch pad to build a name for himself. He linked up heavy with NBA YoungBoy, started making tracks referencing the moment, and began pushing a new image like he was some long-standing street powerhouse. And that's what really pushed OBlock past the edge. It wasn't just the loss itself, it's what was the way he'd been carrying himself from day one afterward. Like the whole thing made him a certified figure. And now we gotta talk about that NBA YoungBoy connection, cause this is where the whole situation turns messy for real. YoungBoy and Lil Durk been locked in a major feud for years, long before anything happened with Vaughn. So when the situation in Atlanta went down, it handed YoungBoy a fresh angle to push his rivalry with Durk even harder. Suddenly, Lil Tim went from being Quando's quiet homeboy to being shown everywhere next to YoungBoy, traveling with him, performing, moving like he part of the main circle, acting like he been there since day one. Quando Rondo been locked into YoungBoy's 4KT movement for years, and their bond goes way back, long before any of this chaos ever started. But Tim was just Quando's partner from Savannah, someone who never wanted the spotlight, never chased fame, and never tried to be in the middle of rap politics until that one night in Atlanta flipped his whole life upside down. After that TikTok drop, everything erupted instantly, like somebody hit a switch. Within hours, the video was everywhere. Timelines on fire, millions of views rolling in, thousands of comments stacking non-stop, and whole comment sections turning into digital battlegrounds. Fans who love King Von flooded Tim's page with insults, warnings, and emotional messages, while YoungBoy supporters jumped in deep, defending Tim's right to speak on what happened.
At that point, it wasn't even about rap anymore. It became a full-blown online war. Two sides going at each other like they had personal stakes in the situation. And it didn't stop with random fans. Black members themselves started loading up their own pages with responses. Instagram stories, tweets, TikToks, everywhere you looked, somebody from the block had something to say. Some posted old clips of King Von smiling, rapping, and living life. Others posted cryptic messages that felt like direct hits at Tim without even mentioning his name. One response stood out more than anything. An OBlock member dropped a video of himself playing Von's music with the caption, "Long live Von, we ain't forgetting nothing." That message hit hard because it showed OBlock still looks at everything tied to that night as unfinished business, no matter what the court system stamped years ago. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's cap stayed completely silent. YB himself didn't hop online to address OBlock, didn't comment on the TikTok, didn't add feud to anything. But word behind the scenes was different. People started saying he boosted security around Tim and the rest of the crew, which showed he paying attention even if he not speaking publicly. Now, we gotta break down this November 6th situation because this part had the whole internet in a chokehold. King Von lost his life on November 6, 2020 at around 2:22 a.m. outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, a date his supporters will never forget. Then, 5 years later, on November 6, 2025, Lil Tim's grandfather passed away the same exact date. As soon as the news hit the timeline, the internet exploded with theories. Von supporters started saying this was a sign, calling it justice from the afterlife, claiming the date lining up wasn't coincidence at all. And they pointed straight at the fact that Tim posted that disrespectful TikTok on the same day his grandfather passed. The time he had people talking everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all filled with debates, fear, and people arguing about whether this was pure coincidence or something deeper. Some folks started calling it cosmic justice and Von's revenge, while Tim supporters tried to shut that down, saying people were overthinking it and turning real-life tragedy into internet superstition. But no matter how anyone tries to spin it,
The timing felt unreal, especially when you consider how calculated Tim usually is with his posts. And then, the internet dug even deeper. They pointed out that Tim's grandfather was reportedly the one who raised him when his parents weren't around, meaning losing him on the exact same date hit way harder emotionally. The way all these events lined up had everybody watching closely because, once again, nothing about this situation felt simple. Not the timing, not the reactions, not the history, not the connections. And every new detail only made the whole story feel heavier. After the situation with Vine happened, internet didn't slow down for a second. People were talking nonstop, calling it some kind of spiritual payback or balance in the universe getting restored. The theories got louder as the hours passed, and the reaction coming out of Chicago made fans stop and pay attention real quick. Multiple OBlock affiliates jumped online with messages that sounded like direct warnings aimed straight at Lil Tim.
They started posting old clips of King Von, laughing, rapping, turning up, living life, and pairing them with captions like "We still here" and "Justice coming." Those messages hit different because they didn't feel like simple tributes anymore. They felt like signals, like coded warnings wrapped inside nostalgia. But it wasn't just OBlock speaking up. Other Chicago drill artists who had love for Von started chiming in too. Even people from FBG Duck Circle, a group that didn't always rock with OBlock, came out showing respect for Von's name and calling out Tim's disrespect. That shocked a lot of people because it showed the situation cut so deep, it temporarily unified two sides that normally didn't see eye to eye. The tension got so heavy that certain venues started canceling NBA YoungBoy shows over safety concerns. Promoters didn't want any smoke inside their buildings, especially if they thought OBlock affiliates might pull up trying to get close to Tim during the performance. Some promoters even released vague statements about security risks, but everybody knew exactly who they were talking about. The backlash to Lil Tim's TikTok moved fast and hit hard. OBlock members been blasting social media with warnings, long posts, and videos calling out the disrespect. And under that TikTok, the comment section turned into full-on warfare. Von supporters and YB fans arguing non-stop, sending shots back and forth like it was a real battlefield unfolding in real time. But here's the part to put everybody on edge. According to people close to the situation, OBlock hasn't just been talking online. They've been actively trying to track down Lil Tim in real life. The energy around all this is starting to feel dangerous again, and the streets are watching every move like it's a countdown to something big. Plenty of folks out there believe Lil Tim been hiding behind NBA YoungBoy's fame and heavy security, and they've been saying loud that they want a one-on-one confrontation. No big entourage, no cameras, just a straight-up face-to-face moment. The tension reached a point where law enforcement had to step in. Atlanta police reportedly boosted patrol around spots YB's camp usually moves through because they don't want anything even close to another tragedy like the night Von lost his life. Even people inside the music industry have been watching this situation closely, trying to figure out how far this might go. Record labels been having quiet behind-the-scenes meetings about artist safety and whether it's worth keeping certain artists on board when they dragging real-life beef into the business. Some insiders been saying Tim's TikTok crossed the line, a line even the industry doesn't want tied to their brand right now.
This whole situation shows how social media completely changed the game forever. Back in the day, if two people had a problem, it stayed off camera. No phones out, no posts, no audience watching everything unfold. But now dudes hop online, bragging, posting TikToks, repeating wild lines, and then acting shocked when the energy comes back around stronger than before. When people see something as disrespect and feel like they gotta respond, everything gets amplified instantly because it's happening on a global stage instead of staying quiet in the background like it used to. Lil Tim could have stayed low-key, collected money off being tied to YoungBoy, and lived his life cool without stirring anything up. But instead, he kept tossing shots online, poking the bear again and again. And now that bear is wide awake and ready to bite back harder than ever. OBlock is not the type to let disrespect slide, especially when it's tied to King Von's name and legacy. And that's the wild part. This beef not showing any signs of slowing down. Von's death opened the door to a cycle of tension that's been running 5 years straight. Every time things seem like they're cooling off, something happens, a post to freestyle, a message, and the whole situation gets sparked right back up like somebody tossed gasoline on an open flame. All of this also shines a light on a deeper issue.
How drill culture and long-standing street beefs been trapping young men inside cycles they didn't even create. Von was in his mid-20s when he passed, with a whole future in front of him. And Tim is still young too, with years left to build something real, something positive. These dudes could be launching businesses, raising families, creating jobs, changing their communities for the better. But instead, they stuck fighting battles that started long before their time, carrying weight from generations' attention. And social media keeps pouring fuel on a fire that never gets the chance to die down. Every clip, every comment, every TikTok becomes another spark that keeps the whole situation alive. At the end of everything, it's straight tragic, no matter which side you look at it from. King Von was a talented artist with real potential, and he could have built a completely different path if he stepped away from the streets earlier. On the other side, Lil Tim reacted in a split second, trying to protect his friend, but that one moment left him carrying a target on his back forever. And that weight don't disappear easy. Block members like Moon and Ike feel like they gotta defend their fallen soldier's honor, and that loyalty runs deep in their world, deeper than most outsiders will ever understand. And this whole November 6th situation, it might be coincidence, or it might be something deeper. That part is for you to decide, but one thing is solid: the TikTok threw Lil Tim right back into the spotlight and made him one of the most watched names in Chicago street politics. OBlock and the whole Chicago scene are not known for letting disrespect slide, especially when it involves Von's name and legacy. This tension been building for 5 full years, and it's not slowing down, not even a little bit. Every post, every diss, every track keeps adding more energy to a situation that already feels explosive. At this point, the real question isn't if something else is going to happen, it's when. So tell me what you think. Was Lil Tim wrong for posting that TikTok, or was he just speaking his mind like anyone else would? And what about that November 6th connection? Is it pure coincidence or something deeper that nobody can fully explain? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is nowhere near done. Now listen, before you dip out, make sure you smash that like button and show love, because every tap helps this movement grow strong. Share this video with your homeboys so they can tap into the story too. And if you're new here or been watching without joining the family, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications so you never miss when we drop heat. The streets never sleep, and we're just getting started. There are way more stories to break down, way more truth to uncover, and tomorrow's upload is about to be even crazier, deeper, darker, and absolutely unmissable. Join the family, stay locked in, and keep rocking with us every single day. We'll catch you in the next one, right here.